1 minute until showtime. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Serving the nation at blogtalkradio.com. This is Locks of the Week Radio.
Coast to coast, internet sports talk. Locks of the Week.
Doc Rivers continues to time and time again not get it when it comes to getting. Oh! Let him play!
Yeah, everybody have a show today. We had snow today, show today, show tomorrow.
I don't know if you want that on your credit card bill. You know, saying the WB network on it. I mean, like,
Your dad was looking at me like, Dave, you have something to tell me?
that's the story that they still.
It's unbelievable!
You have your LeBron in the play. It's like, do you really care about the James Jones at the end of the bench and the potatoes?
Maybe the board, the MikeFrancisco.com, was just ahead of its time.
Pioneers.
Exactly, yeah.
Pioneers, if you will. Yeah.
We listen to this guy sit at a desk and picking his teeth every day and all the dumb stuff he does. But it's not like we're changing the dial. We like Mike. You know, we hate Mike, we love Mike, all that back and forth.
Bingo.
Unbelievable.
San Antonio Spurs, Dave. What do they say about them?
They're boring. They're
boring!
From Los Angeles, this is Dave in the City, brought to you by Locks of the Week Radio. Now, here's Dave Medina.
Good evening, sports fans, and a pleasure to have you here for the big Wednesday show. Good to have you with us on a November Wednesday from right here in Santa Monica. Good to have you with us. We are here an hour earlier tonight, ready to take you through to 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific, rather than the usual midnight Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific, in order to accommodate a few things, but also because I want to offer every opportunity for our friend Kevin on the Cape to join us. We're going to actually hear from him this hour. So instead of hour 2, we're going to have him here in hour 1, and we will saunter from that to the Kids Club picks at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. So stay tuned for all of that, everybody. It should be a fun time, and looking forward to it. I mean, this has been a very big week in football, but it was really funny trying to come up with a particular topic to talk about. But this week presents some very, very big matchups in the NCAA. And with the recent college football rankings released, we really have a lot to talk about. And so coming up, this will be covered more in the second hour than the first, but we have huge games on Saturday. I mean, huge. I mean, you have Alabama taking on LSU, who already took down Ole Miss. Then you've got a showdown in the Big Ten between Ohio State and Michigan State. And I think there was a big Big 12 matchup in this too. And I will look that up. You know, Florida State is playing Virginia. Okay, no one cares about that. But in the Big 12, I remember there being a pretty big game. I think it was like TCU versus Kansas State. Yeah, that's a big game. Both teams have the same record. They have one loss. And the winner of that game controls their destiny for a potential college football playoff. And obviously, by extension, the Big 12 championship. So we are in for a fun night and a lot to cover. A little bit less of the same in the NFL. In the NFL, what we're looking at teams that are still jockeying for position, but it just starts to get pretty good now. The Cowboys are in flux. They've lost 2 in a row, and they're going to London to play Jacksonville, who's also going to London, to meet them there. And Tony Romo's status is pretty uncertain at this point. Is he going to be healthy enough to play? We don't know. The Steelers mounting huge wins against both the Ravens and then the Colts the week before. And Ben Roethlisberger playing out of his mind. The Steeler offensive line getting guys back and looking healthier than ever. And most importantly, their defense has been so strong. Rushing 5, they are rolling the dice, rushing 5 every time in their game against Baltimore, but it worked great. That's what you wanted. I think that was the right thing to do because you got to go after Joe Flacco, and even though you're leaving guys wide open, they gambled and won. The Steelers now are really on a roll going to the Meadowlands to play the New York Jets. We will see if that transpires into anything tangible. They got to win that game, but it wouldn't surprise me not to see them not win that game. So the Steelers are in a big spot. And they don't lead the division yet, but one more win and one more loss by either Cincinnati or maybe Baltimore too. But definitely, because Cincinnati had that tie, so it's hard to. They have a few percentage points ahead of both Pittsburgh and Baltimore at this point, and Cleveland for that matter. The Bengals play the Cleveland Browns on Thursday night. That's tomorrow on NFL Network. So just a lot of excitement, especially in the AFC. But the NFC is certainly no different. We mentioned the Cowboys already. You've got the West where had 2 just incredibly disappointing losses, especially last week's game against the Rams coming off a bye week. They had a chance to win the game with the ball on depending on who you're at, the 6-inch line, the 3-inch line. It was inside of a foot. They couldn't get it in. They gave the ball to Colin Kaepernick, and he fumbled the ball at the goal line, and the Rams came away with a victory at the very end. Unbelievable. So with that in the books, the Niners are really in trouble with 4 losses now and about half the season remaining. Really bad loss for the Niners. I mean, it was amazing how inept they looked offensively. So that's what's happening in the NFC West. The Seahawks looking a little shaky themselves, but they are putting it together with back-to-back wins. They beat Carolina and they beat Oakland of late. And the Cardinals still sneaking up on guys with only the 1 loss so far this season. Incredible. It really is how things look in the NFC West. Suddenly, where we thought this was going to be a showdown between Seattle and San Francisco, it looks like the Cardinals at this point are leaders over both of them. But their back end of the schedule is going to be tough, so it's not going to be easy for them to get through that. They got to play almost the entire division schedule in the second half of the year. They still got to play 2 games against Seattle. They got to play 2 games against San Francisco. And I think, trying to figure out where the Rams were in the middle of all that, but I think they've got a game against the Rams that they're at least on the back end. So that's the NFC West. In the North, the Bears are really in trouble. I think they're pretty much out of it. But they got a game against the Packers, and I'm sure they're going to play for pride. And maybe they'll put up something at Lambeau Field against Green Bay. It's hard to say. So the NFL is really exciting right now. The Patriots look like they're dead, and now they've come all the way back, and they went out and they beat the Broncos going away by scoring so efficiently. I think that's pretty much what it was, but they flustered Peyton Manning too. That was part of it. So they are suddenly in the driver's seat for that division. Not that they never were, but don't look now, but the Miami Dolphins are on a roll too. So they are in the middle of things. It's just getting really exciting in the NFL. I stand corrected. People are still jockeying for position. There's a lot of ways to go. It's not quite showdown time yet, but there are some big games coming up in the NFL as well. So football is really in its fever pitch, and with it, we reintroduced to the program after a couple weeks off our friend Kevin on the Cape and America's favorite moment. Oh yeah, in sports talk podcasting.
Do the dance. It's time for random questions. Good stuff. In the city with Kevin on the Cape.
Do the dance Lance is right. I missed this guy so much, and now he is back. Kevin, it's been too long. How's it going tonight?
Dave, how are you?
I'm great. Happy fall. How's it going, buddy?
Happy fall it is. How's it out there?
You know, it's starting to cool down just as it is everywhere else, but the days are still pretty warm. It was cold for about a day or two, but right now it was like in the 80s. It's like, like 81, 82 today. It was nice. It was great. Can't ask for more.
81, 82.
Yeah, felt like it. I mean, it's a little chilly at nighttime, but the air is definitely crisp as it is, I'm sure, in a lot of places.
73, 74 at night. Pretty cold.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was maybe like 68, but no, you got the idea. It isn't bad at all. I wore a jacket last night. I'm like, why did I wear a jacket? It was so useless. I didn't need it. I was like, it is not that cold. I don't know why I wore a jacket last night. So that was. I put the jacket away. I didn't wear it again. Things are good. So, and I hear that the Northeast is definitely feeling some of the cold weather already. Like, we're talking 30s and 40s right now.
Not right now. Tonight's tremendous. But yeah, it was a rough weekend. Weather out here is always a little nutty. We had we had 60, 70 mile an hour winds, trees down, all that kind of stuff on a Sunday. But it's fine now. It's about 60 degrees now. So, but that's not the case in the normal New England. We have a little secret out here on the Cape. You know, we don't really like to tell many people that we get 60, 70 degree days in November. We like to keep that to ourselves, or else then all the tourists are going to keep coming on. All year long.
It's always the problem, right? I mean, the way these things play out. I mean, because it's kind of like it's sort of like, it must be a good, well-kept secret at this point, because no one would think in November, oh, it's pretty nice. But yeah, you had a couple of nice days.
Yeah, what's happening, we are starting to see it. They've caught on a little bit. So October was very busy. The weekends were very busy.
Wow.
There's Columbus Day, and then there's our annual Oyster Toast in the middle of October, and then Halloween was on the weekend. So October was very busy. So people have sort of caught on to that. The snowbirds usually end up taking off in November. That's their usual. But so it's extended, which is great for business. You know, people keep their restaurants open at least Thursday through Sunday, and they were packed all October. So that was good.
That is good. It's good for business. Glad to hear it, my friend. So, and I'm sure it was manageable, I imagine, at this time of year. So that's good too.
Yeah, it was great. It was nice. It was like sort of like a normal, slow during the week and building toward the weekend kind of deal.
Love it.
It's a little different than your crazy, insane summer where it's just absurd every day. So it was nice. It's been nice. I feel like I haven't talked to you in like 3 months.
It kind of does feel. It really has been a long time. I know that 1 week I was sick. 1 week you were sick. You were either sick or you were tired, and then 1 week we didn't go on the air. I think it's because I was sick, and then the one other time was because there's a lot of reasons. But yeah, I missed you, man.
It feels like the last time we had a show, Jerry Sandusky was still coaching it. It feels that long.
I don't think it's been that long, because I know that people were talking about the Patriots' demise, which once again has been unwarranted. Now they're back in the driver's seat for that division again. I mean, are you surprised? I mean, it shouldn't really shock anyone to see them back in the way that they are right now. You just knew it was going to happen. They're too well coached, and Brady's too good of a quarterback. So, I'm sure the fever is back in New England. Yeah, but it's been a while. It really has been a while. What?
They're getting a little ridiculous.
Are they really? Oh, gee. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It always happens, right? Really ridiculous. Now they're making Super Bowl projections, printing up tickets. Am I right?
Hello?
Chuck, man, Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hey, where'd you go?
Did you lose me?
Did you hang up on me?
No, I didn't hang up on you. I am, I'm going to put him back. That happens sometimes. Junkie, are you there? Hello? 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 What happened there? That's weird.
Please.
Okay. You can't hear me. I'm going to just cut him off for the time being. He'll call back. Gosh, we were really having a good conversation there for a while. That's too bad. We'll just wait for him to dial back, and we'll get back into it. And I don't know. That's weird. Might be his phone. It only happens with him, so I guess maybe it is his phone. Good to have you with us again. It's 6:14. And on this earlier time period, we are happy to have you with us, and I'm glad to have heard a Junkie, even if just for a few minutes. Here he is. He's back. Let's see if we got him back. Kevin, hello. Are you? Can you hear me?
I guess it wouldn't be a show without technical difficulties.
Yeah, say it just like old times. Am I? Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, this is part of your grand plan to just get me to move to Santa Monica to just do the show live from there every day, and I'm sure there are fish markets out there I could work in.
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. I think there's some nice fish markets. I don't know, the Marina Del Rey. Thinking about where they would have seafood fish markets, but yeah, no, all around here. It's pretty awesome. I think you would really enjoy it out here. The coast is great. Fish. Now again, it is the seasonal. It is the fall season, so. If you could run down for me, what are the biggest fish that are in season right now? What are the in-season fish types that?
This is kind of a boring time of the year.
Okay.
Late fall is a little better out here for fishing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's kind of boring. Actually, it's not so boring for the shellfish, but because we get a lot of different oysters and different kinds of clams, different sizes that people can do different things with, different things. But the fish is pretty boring. I mean, it's sort of like staple time, I've got the swordfish, the scallops, the flounder, the cod, and the salmon. That's pretty much it. I mean, they're all affordable, which is nice this time of year because they're a lot. But it's not that exciting. But people get what they want, and it's not too expensive right now. Then late fall, there's some different things like fluke, and there's halibut that comes around, and different things like that. But so right now it's a little boring in the fish department, but at least it's everything's still good and it's still fresh and it's still.
Very good. Now, what is the worst? Is this the worst? Like when I say worst, I guess in context I'm meaning slowest, but. What is the worst time of the year for seafood? Like where are you seeing the least amount of fish, the least amount of inventory, so to speak? I mean, is there a particular time of the year for that?
Yeah, on the East Coast. I mean, that goes without saying. It's it's the deep winter because no one wants to go out there. No, I mean, you know how cold it is in New England. In February, it's even colder out in the water. So you've got to be pretty. And plus, you have to have a big boat to go out there in that kind of weather. You can't. Those little day boat guys with the 25, 35-foot boats aren't going out there because they would die. So you've got to have a 77, 82-foot boat to be going offshore at that time of year.
Oh wow!
That's when. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's just dangerous. People die out there. It's not what we do for a living. It's crazy out there. So you've got to have a legitimate boat to be going fishing, in February and in March with the wind out there and all that weather.
Interesting. Man, I mean, I think it's been pretty well established that their job is a thankless one and pretty dangerous. I mean, literally life-risking in some cases. I certainly. A lot of reasons for that, though. I mean, it's the current, it's the storms, it's someone could drown, someone could fall off the boat, waves, sharks. There's all sorts of reasons. I don't think sharks is that high on the list, though, but it's very dangerous. I can totally understand. You can get sick, so many reasons. how often do you communicate with fishermen? I mean, do you just get the fish? Like, do they come bring it personally, or do they just have it in trucks? And that's an interesting. See, this is a very interesting question. I was always wondering, like, what's the transition? Is there a middleman? Is there just like a packing company? What's the process going from the fishing boat to your store?
There is a middleman. There's always a middleman, Dave. You know, in this world.
Yep.
But we're fortunate to have our own middleman. We are our own middleman. We have a wholesale warehouse, which a lot of markets and restaurants don't have. But our owners are sort of forward-thinking guys, so we've got our own kind of wholesale warehouse. So there is middlemen definitely in this business. I mean, we do deal with middlemen in Boston and on some things like that, but yeah, I don't go. I mean, 7 years ago I used to go to the pier and take the fish, but there's so many regulations now, and so many you can't not deal with a wholesaler, even with shellfish and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of layers that are involved, which of course it sucks because it adds to the price, retail wise. But that's the way it is as far as safety and making sure they know where the fish is from and it's good and it's fresh and things like that.
That's pretty cool that you have your own distribution center, basically, and it really increases the quality control of your product. Some restaurants do that. I know In-N-Out certainly sets up their own meat producing facility. They do all the meat the meat cutting, or what is it, meat grinding, what have you, and it all comes through the one warehouse. Which this is the reason why In-N-Out isn't available in most like throughout the rest of the country, because they were insistent on having all meat come from one place, and it can be only this one place, so they have full control over quality of its product, and it creates a better overall, better overall patty, better overall meat, better overall ingredients. So it's forward thinking on the part of your company, because it creates. It usually means it's fresher. It usually means that there's less chance of something going wrong or some inconsistency with the way that your seafood is prepared and presented. So, pretty cool. And let me think. We wanted to give you a quiz about how New England you are, and I was just thinking of clams.
Really?
Yeah. There's a quiz that says how much New England, what percent New England are you?
Wow.
Do you want to try this? I have the questions for you. Okay. So let me look it up here. I've got it coming up. I dug up some random questions through Twitter. There's actually a random questions Twitter, and I don't know how long it's been up, but I grabbed some questions off it. We'll ask those a little later. But yeah, it's a great quiz. What percent New England are you? And most of us felt like we had high hopes for you getting a good score on this. I think you'll wind up having.
Is there an over under on the percentage of what I will score?
I think they said you were going to be in like the 60s or 60% and up. Probably like 80 actually. Some people said 80. So I think it's going to be about between 70 and 90%. Like you're
all right. So judging by your you did research on how I would score.
Well, no, we didn't do research. We just asked around. We're like asking other people on the board, like, what percent do you think Junkie would get on this? And they're like, I would get like 80%, 70%, 60%, things like that.
So we're gonna set the over under at 72%. So place your bets now.
72%. 72%. I like it.
You can take it. 70, obviously for betting purposes, 72.5.
I think we should do 70, just to be conservative about it. Let's do 71 and make that happen. I wish I could figure where this quiz was. I forget what. It's on the board. I'll look. I have it here on the board. I'll look it up on the board. New England percent. I have it here. It'll show right up. I just gotta dig it up and I'll have it here. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Here it is. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, this is a pretty neat. It's a pretty neat quiz. New England quiz. Come on. All right. New England quiz. Coming up. There's so many quizzes, you know. Like, you know how they have like a zillions and zillions and zillions of polls? Remember that? It's
Oh yeah.
percent New England. It's up here somewhere. I know it is. A lot of these are about the Patriots. These search results are like the Pats. It's kind of funny. Where is this quiz? So internet quiz New England. It's up here somewhere. Okay. And it's funny because like these quizzes come up all the time in on Facebook. I don't know. I mean, you're on Facebook too, but and you know you'll see friends of yours show how much percent, and it's not even that long of a quiz. It's only like 6 questions, but I'm gonna go see if I can find that quiz. I can't believe I remember. Let me see. I'm gonna contact my friend Yachts and see if he has it. Do you have a link? I can't believe I can't find this. But anyway, while you while we look that up, let me quickly ask another couple of questions. Okay. So first of all, can you hear me? That's an important question. Can you hear me right now?
I can. You sound very clear. You sound crystal clear for the last 15 minutes.
Okay, great. Would you ever take a pole and walk across on a tightrope anywhere, even like across like 2 trash cans? Would you do it?
Am I being paid for this, or just for fun?
I think I can feel you would get paid for this. Think of it like, because the topic last weekend was Nick Walenda, and he is the guy that has been walking across many big, deep, very, very high holes across America and maybe even beyond America. I mean, he walked all the way across the Niagara Falls, like over the falls. He walked across the Grand Canyon, and just the other day, he walked across 2 signature skyscrapers in Chicago's skyline. Not Willis Tower or anything like that, but some pretty tall buildings, like 600 feet or more above the ground. Pretty amazing. But probably less amazing than the other ones, but still pretty impressive. And he did one of them, and he walked across 2 smaller buildings blindfolded. Can you even imagine being that high in the air? Even if you're only going about 50 feet and you can't see, could you even imagine that?
That's pretty insane. No, I could not imagine. And I would not do.
Gosh, it's really, really incredible, and I'm really impressed by that. Gosh, I cannot find this quiz. It's really funny. Are you a true New Englander? Yeah. That's not the one I'm looking for, but I guess we'll use it right now. But like, what's the height? Like, are you afraid of heights, Junkman? Are you like afraid of being up on in tall buildings and being on the balcony or anything like that?
100%, absolutely.
Oh, really? Okay, so that's funny. Okay, so
that's a definite fear. I don't have a lot of fears, but that's definitely one of them.
I gotcha. And clan.
Actually, that's a lot of fears, but that's on the top of the list.
Cool.
I don't even like being tall.
Really? Even being tall? That's kind of funny.
Yeah, I wish I was shorter.
Yeah, interesting. That is... Well, how tall are you? I've never really thought to ask you. How tall are you?
Well, I'm getting old, Dave, now. You know, we shrink a little bit as we get old, so... starting 2 guard for my high school basketball team, I was 6'1". I would say closer to 6 foot now.
Okay, so 6 feet tall. I mean, that's a pretty good. It's probably about the national average. I mean, it's way taller than me. I mean, I'm 5 foot.
That's Actually, that's not the national average. That national average is way shorter than that.
Oh, is it shorter than that? All right. Well, no, it's certainly taller than me. I'm 5'7.5". So 5'5".
I'd say you're closer to the average than I am.
Oh no, you might be right actually.
The average American male is 5'9", I'd say.
I see.
I'm sure there's a website that has that, but I'd say 5'9" at the most. There's a lot of short people out there.
Cool. And
this would be a good time for Randy Newman right now.
short people. Oh, that's funny. I found the quiz. It took me a lot of adjustments, but I found the quiz. This is definitely the quiz because I remember the questions and this is it. Okay, so the quiz is called "How New England Are You?" Well, why don't we find out? Let's ask you these. We'll ask you these one by one. And
how many are there?
There aren't very many. There are only like 6 questions, but they're actually multiple choice. Believe it or not.
There's only 6 questions, so I have to get like 5 right to get the over.
Oh yeah, that's where like the over under was kind of funny because like I was thinking, yeah, we don't have to be that precise with it. You should probably.
Actually, no, wait, that's not true. 4 out of 6 is 75%, so I need 4 out of 6.
Okay, let's see how well you do. All right, question number 1 in our New England quiz. The New England quiz for Kevin on the Cape. A natural. Hopefully, we wish him the best of luck. Here we go. What do you call the tiny balls or rod-shaped bits of chocolate used as a topping for ice cream, cakes, and other sweets? Do you want me to give you all the choices, or do you want to just guess first, and then I'll give you the choices?
I know the answer, but you can give me the choices.
All right. The choices are sprinkles, nonpareils, or jimmies.
They're jimmies.
Yes. Oh, nice. Oh, I mean, I kind of gave that one away, but yeah, that. I believe that is the correct answer. So let's now go to the next question. Number 2. To you, 6 inches of snow is, and then now I will give you the answer. I will give you the choices. Okay, a mere trifle, a heavy snowfall, a real concern, or I've never seen 6 inches of snow.
What was the first one?
A mere trifle. A mere trifle.
What the hell's a trifle?
Not a big deal.
Yeah, then I picked that one.
All right, so that's a mere trifle. And now to question number 3. What is the gateway city in New England?
Whoa, that's a good one, Dave.
What do you think? Oh, yeah, I got to give you the choices. Okay. The choices are
Yeah, give me the choice.
Philadelphia, Portland, Providence, or Boston.
Well, see, I had my answer. This is how I always answer the random multiple choice questions in my head before I get the multiple choice. If that makes any sense. And before I even heard the choices, Providence was my answer. So that was
Cool.
one of the choices. So I'm going to pick Providence.
All right, Providence. So that's question number 3. Here comes question 4. What do you call the device that people use to drink water in public? Here are the choices: water fountain, drinking fountain, or bubbler.
That's a good one. I've never heard any of those terms. So I would say it's drinking fountain. But
Okay.
I'm thinking that's probably going to be the one you get wrong.
Perhaps. We will lock it in, drinking fountain. And now question number 5. Ever been candlepin bowling?
Yes.
Yes. And the answer is basically yes, no, or I have no idea what it is. So,
The answer is yes.
all right. Let's go on to the next question.
And actually, the answer, yeah, that is only existed out here, so I think that might be the answer. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, we'll move on. One more question to go. I think this is the last one. Question 6. Are you a maple syrup snob? And the answer and the choices are nah, syrup is syrup, or I accept no imitations.
Well, see, as a question player, I might answer that differently. I tend to go with the first one, that syrup is syrup. But they're kind of pompous out here with their maple syrup. So they're probably, I know, it's ridiculous. So the New England answer is probably number 2, but
Right.
I don't really care. Plus, I don't eat that crap. There's too much sugar in it anyway. It gives me a headache.
Okay. Well, I think it'd be good to answer this, honestly, because I think you got to go with what you really do, and in this case, we'll go with syrup is syrup. It's more of an opinion anyway, but it's all part of the analysis. All right. So that was question 6, our final question, I believe. Let's see. No, there's still more. Okay. And here we go. Question 7. Have you ever been to a proper clam bake?
Yes.
You've told me about it, so yeah, the answer would be a yes. The responses, if you want to know, they were yes, I have, no, I haven't, no, I haven't, but I really want to, and aren't those illegal? That's funny. Okay, so here we go. Question 8. This is the How New England Are You quiz, and our friend Kevin on the Cape, who lives in New England, is responding to these for us. Very exciting. This has been a fun quiz so far. Here's question 8. You're walking down the street, heading to the bank. A stranger smiles as you. A stranger smiles at you as they pass. In response, you are most likely to, and the choices are, you're most likely to A, completely ignore them, B, smile back awkwardly, C, shoot a big smile right back at them, or D, stop and chat for a while.
The answer is A. Ignore them.
All right, so completely ignore them is the response. Let's see what we have next. Question 9. What do you call a sweetened carbonated beverage? Is it Coke, soda, pop, soft drink, or tonic?
Tonic is a little. Probably soda.
All right, we'll pop in soda. No pun intended. Soda is the response. Next question. All right, so here's the final question of the quiz. There are 10 questions total, and here's question number 10. Have you been to the Big E? And the answers are either, what is the Big E? I haven't ever been, once, or multiple times. So, have you ever been to the Big E?
No.
So you've never been. Do you know what the Big E is?
No.
So you're not familiar with the Big E. That's probably the toughest one. It's probably the toughest one of all of them, right? So what is the Big E is the answer. Okay. Let's get the result. Good luck. And you're a 60% New England. I think that last question may have been a little unfair, though. 60%, which makes you a deluxe nor'easter. That's a bigger percentage than I got. I took the quiz too, just for fun. And now, will they show me what the answers were to this question? Let's see. Maybe you're not a real native, but you're close enough. This is what the description says. And we certainly wouldn't be surprised to bump into you at a Cape Cod clam bake someday, sporting a Patriots jersey. I think they got the clam bake part right, not the other part. Would you ever wear?
I would never wear a
I thought
never.
so. I thought so.
I would never wear a jersey anyway.
Right. That's
Anywhere.
it's a great
I
point.
would never wear a Giants jersey. I would never wear a Mets jersey. No, that's just silly for a grown man.
That's funny. I'm just gonna report here on Twitter. Junkman got 60% New Englander on the How New England are you best? There it is. Congratulations, though. I mean, that's more than 50%. It really, if you had gotten that question about the Big E, if you threw that in, or if we had kind of
Yeah,
fake,
what is that?
I'm going to find that out because I need to know myself. I have no clue what the Big E is. I know the Big O. I don't know what the Big E is. Let's go look it up.
Right.
Big E. The heck is the Big E? Well, the Big E is in West Springfield, Massachusetts. Have you ever even been to Springfield?
Oh, Jesus. No one wants to go to Springfield. No one goes to Springfield on purpose. They go to Springfield because they're either lost or they have nowhere else to go.
Absolutely. I totally understand. I totally get it. Okay. So the Big E happens to be the largest fair. Let me read the rest of this. It is a New England extravaganza with top-name entertainment, the largest fair in the Northeast. And so basically, it's basically a state fair in essence.
Top-name entertainment.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Well, let's find out. Let's see about the entertainment this year or this past year. We had the Mardi Gras parade. No, but tell us about the acts. I'm interested to know who the other attractions are. They have this is crazy. They have a Grizzly Experience, celebrity impersonators, Randy Burns, the Mechanical Man. Wow.
Nice.
Just top level entertainment here. Is there like a band or something? I'm looking at here at the Big E website. If you're looking for it, it's at thebige.com. You know what's kind of cool? On our video cast, I can actually show people on the internet what this Big E thing looks like. So if you want to look at the Big E website, just to show you, just to show off with this Google Hangouts thing. I'm on the Google Hangouts. So on the video cast, I will now show you. I will now share with you the screen. If I can do this. I'm a bit of a clown with this stuff. Let me see if I can figure this out. Yeah, screen share. Here it is. So here's the Big E website. So you can see it here. And so yeah, there it is. Here's the website. And we were just looking at the entertainment here on the Big E website. And the Circus Spectacular, the Mardi Gras Parade. I thought maybe you'd see some actual concerts here, but you can see this is what this is. Stuff like that.
Sounds like they're ready made for Taylor Swift in a couple of years.
She's doing pretty well right now, but you're probably right at the end. By the way, do you want to know how much it costs to go to the Big E? Do you want to know what the price of it is? General admission? Here it is. General admission. What'd you say?
Or like a full weekend pass.
I'm assuming it. Oh, we'll see. There's a one-day advance ticket. There's a 17-day value pass, and a midway voucher.
17 days? Disaster? Why? 17 days?
I don't know. I think like 17 minutes might be enough for me, but there it is. 17-day pass. And it costs $40 for 7-day pass. Oh my! But if you just want to go for one day, it's $12. So $12 if you do decide you're just gonna go for.
$12 for one day and $40 for 17 days. Wow, that's a deal.
It is a deal, but do you really want to go? Do you really want to go there for 17 days? It just seems nuts. So. Anyway, the Big E, that's what it is. And if you in New England have been to the Big E, please tweet us your experience at Ditkow on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you about that. Yeah, the Big E. So it's that thing. So now that you know about the Big E, would you go? Are you getting in your car now to drive down to Springfield?
No, I've never been anywhere near Springfield, and I would never go.
I don't think this is helping the cause. I don't think. So at any rate, That's the Big East.
I fully expected a phone call from the Chamber of Commerce from Springfield, but it's an awful town.
Oh, yeah. It happens, man. Plenty of nothing towns in California, too. You just have to point you eastward, like past East LA, and then you'll find all the nothing that there is around about the Inland Empire. I'll say no more. It's a nice place, though. Nice place to live. It's just really hot and not much going on. But anyway, up next, let's get to the random questions themselves. I was checking on chat, and chat is dead as usual. So let's go to the random questions from Twitter tonight. And these come from Random Questions. Not very exciting name for their Twitter, but here it is. Okay, so there's some good questions in here that I want to bring to you before we close up our hour. And if you'd like, Junk Band, stay tuned. You can check out our Kids Club picks in our next hour. It should be fun.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. And I don't know if you've had a chance to check out the archives, but Andy has been on fire with these podcasts the last few weeks. A few weeks ago, he was just going off about this Rams 49ers game. It was really funny. He's just simply been quite entertaining. Anyway. Okay, so here we go. Question number 1. And this is a fun one. This ties in everything we've been talking about. First question. For $50,000, would you eat nothing but seafood for a year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I could, as like a main course, or it's just all seafood. I can't have any bread. I can't have anything else.
I have no answer to. I don't really know. I think they would let you. If it were up to me, I would allow bread, but that's about it. Like you can't do vegetables. You can't do.
Like you could have a fish taco. You could have fish tacos with
right,
like a little wrap on them. Stuff.
I think that's fair. I think it's entirely fair. It's totally reasonable.
Yeah. I would do that. I'd figure out how to do that.
Cool. That's pretty good stuff. Okay, great. So I would, I would be I certainly would consider it for a year. The reason why I don't eat as much seafood as I do is because it's expensive. If they would subsidize it, $50,000 would certainly go a long way towards that. I'd be happy to oblige. So it's really the expenses.
Oh, I'm sure we could get, sponsors and stuff like that.
I agree. I think that would work out really well. So I would totally do it for $50,000. I love seafood anyway. It's good. Shrimp maybe a little less than other stuff. Like I like fish a lot, crab, lobster, shrimp, not so much. But the other things I'm a big fan of. Okay, next question. Random questions, and some good questions here from our Random Questions Twitter. Last time
I could get you the good shrimp, Dave.
Oh yeah. I'll eat it. I'm just not a huge fan of it. If you find some good shrimp for me, I would love to try it and give it a go and see how it tastes.
What's the next one?
Okay, the next question is, when is the last time you went shopping?
Yeah. Outside of food shopping, I'm assuming, right?
I think they mean shopping for clothes, yeah. Or electronics.
Shopping for clothes. Shopping for clothes, that's an easy one. I do that once a year, usually in about March. So I'd say the last time I went shopping was 6 or 7 months ago.
Cool. Great. You're certainly more on top of it than I am. I don't really shop for clothes until they wore out, so I'm kind of lame that way, but not bad. Nicely done. Okay. Next question. What is your favorite accent?
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, my favorite accent has always been French, but the French people that we encounter out here are usually very mean, so that sort of turned me against that one. Well, there's also the French Canadian, and then there's the actual, France accent. And I have this one girl who's pretty much in between our age, year and mine. She's probably like early 30s. And she's a French teacher at one of these schools. And she comes in, and I swear to God, she could call me a complete dumbass, and the way she sounds is just awesome. So I'm going to say French. I just love it. I could listen to her just completely call me a fat, bald loser, which I pretty much am, but the way she says it, you know, I'll take it any day of the week.
That's good, man. That's funny. I love it though. That's great. I mean, it can be aesthetically pleasing to the ear. I like it. Very, very cool.
Absolutely, and runner-up is a Southern accent, but I have a Southern accent on women is fantastic. On men, they just sound like a complete dumbass. So
it's a funny observation. It's kind of tough for Southern people in that regard. They're always fighting an uphill battle because it's not really their fault, but the accent always makes one sound a little less intelligent. You know, it doesn't mean they're not. It just means that it's just a stigma that they've had to deal with over the years. So I totally get it. I think people kind of feel the same way about California accents. They sort of have the same problem. Like they think they're just so laid back. They're not very sharp. It happens. So, very neat. Good. That was a good question. So good job by the Random Questions Twitter. And for our final 10 minutes, let's round out the rest of these questions. I mean, it's gonna go forever, but I'll just go through some of the best ones. Here we are. Next question. What is your wish for the upcoming new week?
I wish for the that's a good one. I never really broke it down by a week basis, but I wish for the upcoming week is just, you know, this is gonna sound lame, but just a good night's sleep. That would be nice. I don't sleep very well, Dave. Just like a real good, 8 hours of sleep. That would be nice. I don't ever get that.
Yeah, I think it's often been a big wish for a lot of us, and sleep it does so much. I'm always happy just to get nice.
Yeah, it really does. It's better than a massage. It's better than a lot of things. But yeah,
that's awesome, man. I totally side with you on that. Sleep is great. So hopefully, you'll get that nice round of sleep coming up, and B, hopefully more people have the same aspirations because good sleep will keep you very nicely grounded. I can't say I'm going to get much sleep this week, but next week I could probably make up for it. Okay, next question. Random question with Kevin on the Cape. Just a few of them this evening. Let's see. As a kid, were you stubborn or obedient?
I've actually had this conversation. This is funny. This is ironic, I should say, with my mother not even a week ago.
Wow.
And I was obedient, according to her, until I was about 8. 3rd grade, she told me. And I sort of remember most of it, but we went out to dinner with a few of my aunts, her sisters, and her, and they came up to visit, and they were all in 100% agreement that at about 8 years old, 3rd grade, I became very stubborn. And the teachers commented on the change and that kind of stuff. And so I fell in line until 7. And then when I turned 8, apparently, I started to question everything and question my teachers and my parents and all that kind of stuff.
Pardon me, everybody. So you
and by the way, if you go on the end of that dinner last week, it hasn't stopped because it ended in me just driving all these 65-year-old women crazy.
That's funny. Yeah, good times. All right.
Right. So I was a good boy for the first 7 years, and in the last 30, I've been the pain in the ass.
So I guess your answer is sort of both, because you were still young when you started becoming disobedient. So it's an interesting observation. But I guess most of your youth you were a good boy, which is good. But it's also you're also more honest with yourself being the other way. I tend to find out, you know.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I can respect one who kind of just lets loose. I totally get it. You know, makes sense, and I can appreciate it in some cases. All right, so nice question from the Random Questions Twitter. Here's another. On a scale of 0 to 10, how busy is your schedule tomorrow?
I'd say, according to what happened today, it's probably a 9.5.
Wow. No letdown at all. No let or let up, I guess, is the way to say it.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's very busy.
Oh, wow. How about that? So, all right. Next question. Just a couple more to finish up our hour. Oh, this is good. How do you deal with negative people?
Oh, that's a good one, especially someone who's in my world of retail and dealing with people all the time. That's a really good question, and it's something we've had actually. You have lots of talks about that when you're in the world of restaurants and retail and people that just get miserable. I tend to have a saying with my staff, and especially in the summertime, where we're just going to beat them over the head with smiles and kindness. Whether, that is just a, hopeless thought, or we still try. And I still try. I still do it to this day. And it's just so weird because I'm such an cynical person in my personal life. But for some reason, when I'm in that store, I'm a different person.
Fascinating.
My instinct is to just, if I see an angry person, just to beat him over the head with this, a fishing oar. But because it's my job and it's my life, I just sort of turn on this strange, you joke with them and you try to make them smile, and if you can't do it, you try something else. And so negative people in work, I just try to beat them over the head with kindness. Negative people in my life, I just don't deal with.
Right.
If you're going out with someone, or you're on a date, or you're at a bar or something, and it's not going well, you call it a night. You don't see them again. That's what I do in my personal life. It's just I don't. But as far as work, obviously work is different. You need customers. So if you have a really nasty, negative person, you just sort of go over the top with kindness. Oh, can I help you to your car? Oh, how you doing? And they tell you some story about how somebody, and you just sort of, it's weird. It's a very interesting dynamic that I can't probably articulate well in our short time here, but I just go overboard, and there are times when I can hear myself and I don't even understand what I'm saying, because I'm like, wow, this isn't my personality. But you just try to make someone's day a little better because they came in and they were arguing with their wife or their kids or something. You just try to make their day a little better. You try to make their little stop into my little store. You just try to make them leave happier than they came in, And I think if most people did that, I go to stores all the time, and people are just so miserable that are working there, and you just try to make it a little better. It's not that hard.
That's impressive. I mean, that you have the kind of control of yourself to do that. Because like you said, you probably want to beat some of these.
I want to smack people. I want to smack people in the face all the time, but for some reason, there's a part of me that doesn't do that, which is, I guess, why I survived here so long. But yeah, especially in the summertime, you have all sorts of people that are needy and they're mean and coming on their cell phones, and you just want to smack them in the head. So it's difficult. I mean, it's actually probably why I don't sleep well. It's probably why I'm so tired and that kind of stuff. But it's in the long run, it's what I am. It's what I do. So it's fun. It's interesting. It's a more interesting job than I've ever had, really. I think just because you're dealing with a different personality every time someone walks through the door.
That's awesome, man. And I'm really proud of you, man, for being that consistently professional. That's why I think you are as successful as you are, and why Max Seafood is as successful as it is. So congratulations for all the success so far. Hopefully more of the same. Well, it's been a great first hour, and I really want to thank you for coming on again tonight, and I look forward to doing this again next time at our normal time. But I appreciate it very much. I have a great.
Well, this could be the future of the show. We could do an awesome first hour and kind of set the bar for the kids club to just step it up in the second hour.
It's an interesting idea.
Instead of me always having to carry these kids club and trying to make sense of it all at the end. We could set the tone early. Plus, the kids club, they're up later.
Oh, yeah.
They're probably peaking right now. They're probably sitting there waiting to dial you, going, would Kevin just shut up so we can call in and get the show started? They're ready to go right now. And they're like, will the old man just go to sleep? So I'm thinking this could be the future of the show. A 9 to 11 kids club and 10 to 11. They're you know what? They're probably going to have their best show ever tonight, and I'm going to listen. That's
going to be great. It's going to be good. I look forward to hearing from everybody, and I have looked forward. It has been a privilege listening to you. That's an interesting thought. Moving the show an hour earlier could be beneficial in a lot of areas. So we're going to talk that over the next few days. I'll let you know where we are at. Maybe we can make 9 p.m. a consistent time slot. It's just a matter of whether I can get home early enough to set up the show. And tonight I was, so it worked out great.
Well, we'll work on it, but I think I'm telling you, I feel the kids club is going to shine tonight. I think this is going to work.
I like it too. I feel good about it myself. So, all right, Junkie. Well, feel free to hang around and stay tuned for Kids Club coming up.
Yeah, I'll take a break and I'll call back and listen.
Cool. All right. Well, until then, have a good weekend. Enjoy your time at New England. Glad to hear from you. Take care, bud.
You got it, man. I'll talk to you next week.
All right, man. That's Kevin on the Cape, rounding out our first hour. So we'll take a minor break, do our top of hour intro, and a top of hour ID. You know the deal. And we'll get it again for hour 2. Should be fun. Stay with us. This is Dave in the city. It's been so long since I've done the top of hour ID. I've forgotten all about exactly how it works. But Dave in the City, Locks of the Week Radio at 7:01.
Hi, everybody. This is Andrew Jacobson, the football guru, and you are listening to Locks of the Week Radio.
Coast to coast, Internet Sports Talk, Locks of the Week.
Doc Rivers continues to time and time again not get it when it comes to getting... Oh! Let him play!
Yeah, everybody have a show today. We had snow today, show tomorrow.
I don't know if you want that on your credit card bill. Saying the WB network on it. I mean, like, your dad was looking at it and be like, Dave, you have to tell me?
That's the story. That they still.
It's unbelievable.
You have your LeBron in the filet. It's like, do you really care about the James Jones at the end of the bench and the potatoes?
Maybe the board, the MikeFrancisco.com, was just ahead of its time.
Pioneers.
Exactly, yeah.
Pioneers, if you will. Yeah.
We listen to this guy sit at a desk and picking his teeth every day and all the dumb stuff he does. But it's not like we're changing the dial. We like Mike. We hate Mike. We love Mike. All that back and forth.
Bingo. Unbelievable. The San Antonio Spurs, Dave. What do they say about them?
They're boring. They're
boring.
From Los Angeles, this is Dave in the City, brought to you by Locks of the Week Radio. Now, here's Dave Medina.
Welcome back, everyone. Ready to start hour number 2 on our program tonight. We usually do random questions in hour 2, but with things the way they are, we moved that up to hour 1, and then the Kids Club here starts us off in hour 2. So a very, very action-packed hour coming up. And on air tonight, we will be hearing from John in Connecticut and Ron in New Jersey. Maybe Andy in Seattle, too. We'll keep an eye out for his telephone call. we also have a friend in town, our coach's friend and my friend, and he comes in from Connecticut. He's staying with us for the week, so he has a spot to, we set up, a nice bed and all that sort of thing. Pretty good stuff. But there will be some nighttime activity also tonight. So as we continue our show, this will segue to quite an interesting evening, probably with some alcohol in the mix. So it's a good night coming up. And let's now get to Kids Club picks on a very exciting week of football. And on this exciting week, we had our picks from the Kids Club panelists. It was a big week for Ron in New Jersey. He went 4-0 and extended his lead in the standings. But everybody else kind of had, good and bad. John was 3-1 last week. Andy held steady at 2-2. And Oat Man with the golden sombrero, 0-4. And from week 10, we now have these standings. Again, Ron is in first place, 19-16-1. Oat Man, even despite the 0-4, he is still in second place, 15-20-1. That's because he's been so good over the last month. Andy is also 15-20-1, still in the race. And John, with a nice 3-1 week, climbs back into a virtual tie for second, 15-21, but with a lot of weeks left to go. Again, this is week 10. There's probably about 6 weeks remaining, maybe 7 when you include this week. So with that ready to go, we now introduce our on-air panelists for Kids Club on, again, a very exciting college football weekend forthcoming. Here we go. We start with Ron in New Jersey, who again is the leader after having been down for a little while and ready for some more. Ron, welcome to the show. How's it going tonight?
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Doing pretty well, and again, a lot to talk about tonight. Also on our show, joining us is John in Connecticut. Welcome back, and a nice week on your end last week as well. How's it going tonight?
I'm doing good, Dave. Thanks for having me on again. I hope, in anticipation of your drinking, you've taken off work tomorrow. I'd hate to see you not be functional at your job.
Well, we'll play that by ear, see how that goes. Right now, all I'm drinking is... What's that?
I said, oh, okay, well, that's a good approach to it. See how it goes.
Yeah, see, I played, minute by minute. I was doing this last night too. You definitely have to space it out when you're going to do scenarios every night of the week. It's definitely a different thing. So we will be very cautious, but cautiously optimistic about the whole thing. I'll let you know. If you don't see me in the board tomorrow, you'll know why. It's as simple as that. All right, so back to Ron. Ron, this has been a really... Oh, we have Andy checking in with us, so let's bring him into the program. Andy in Seattle is also joining us tonight. Andy, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Oh, good. Thanks for having me. Hope everyone's having a good day, and just watching all these games on the television. Hopefully we get a couple shows before this night's over.
Yep, I look forward to it. Again, a very competitive contest. I know the overall records don't reflect that, but it has definitely been pretty bad. I can know people taking the lead, other people taking the lead. It's been pretty good. And as I said, it's not really over by any stretch. I mean, any 4-0 week can put anyone else back into first place. So there's a lot of juice left over in our contest. Some action last night. Bowling Green with a pretty nice win against Akron in a terrible weather facility. There was a lot of terrible weather going on. That seemed to hit well, and we seem to have had the attention of James Kanapke, who certainly acknowledged our approval of his play last night. Anyway, that's certainly not the story here on our show. Let's talk about the big story. The college football playoff standing as of present. Number 1 is Mississippi State. 2 is Florida State. Both are undefeated. Number 3 is Auburn. After again just the most unbelievable run of let's just say it, luck. There's been a lot of luck involved with Auburn lately, and their defense, which is kind of so. Oregon is 4th, as they should be. I think their strength of schedule certainly proves that to be correct. Bama's right behind them at 5, and they have a big game against LSU coming up this weekend. Then you've got TCU, Kansas State, Michigan State, and here's a good one. 9 and 10 are Arizona State and Notre Dame, and they play each other this weekend. This is a big weekend in college football all the way around. Ron, let's start, before we even get into picks, I want to talk about last weekend, because Ole Miss lost so much last 2 weeks. First, last week, they lost not only the game, but they lost Laquan Treadwell. I mean, a devastating loss in so many levels. I couldn't even believe he didn't make the end zone. I thought he had the touchdown, but the replay showed he did not. So your thoughts about the way things are going at the top of the standings, and what to make now of Ole Miss? Ron, what'd you think?
Well, it was a tough break for Ole Miss. The week before they lost because, the Hugh Freeze called some bonehead play at the end of the game, showing, why Hugh Freeze is Hugh Freeze, and then you get Bo Wallace throwing up a duck that gets intercepted and basically kills this season or the dream season for Ole Miss. And last week was just an incredible finish. Who could predict that? Laquan Treadwell, probably their best player, going into the end zone, and he fractures his ankle, breaks his leg, fumbles an inch away from the goal line, and Auburn recovers and wins. But that's just how Auburn's it's been their luck for the past 2 years, and good for them, putting themselves in that position. But what a heartbreaking ending. Oh,
absolutely. I couldn't believe it. It was already devastating as it was, having him hurt himself that badly, where he had to be ruled out for 4 months. Not weeks, months. Weeks would have ruled him out for the season. 4 months, and he didn't even make it in the end zone. It really hits you right in the gut. You got to give Auburn credit for putting out the moves and the right coaching decisions to win, but it really was crazy. So let's go to Andy for your thoughts about last weekend's action, and we can include the LSU game against Ole Miss and some other assorted topics. But what were your thoughts about this weekend's action?
Well, I was kind of busy on Saturday. I watch a lot of highlights. I know that doesn't count in a lot of circles, but I did see a lot of the Thursday game with LSU or Louisville and Florida State, and I think a few people here and there are rooting for Louisville to win on their home soil and kind of put the kibosh on Florida State season for all sorts of reasons. And it was kind of a haunting game, but that's why Petrino is Petrino. He had a chance to get the Z off the board, first drive of the game, kick a field goal. They did not. They still end up going up 21-0. But even then, you're still waiting for them to basically take the air out of their own balloon. Florida State in the second half just had a really good fourth quarter, and Louisville just got super cargo tight. So if you were looking for Florida State to lose, that was their big chance, because their schedule right now is pretty easy, and the ACC is kind of mediocre. But Ron had a good breakdown of the Auburn-Mississippi game. That SEC West, Francesca and Danielson talk about every Friday. There's just going to be a lot of self-bastardizing in that conference to see who ends up getting that spot in the SEC game. Oh, Georgia lost too, so that SEC East is a mess. So whoever's going to win the SEC is going to get probably one of those 4 spots. I don't think they'll get 2, though.
Right, and I think the odds against the SEC winning the SEC East, winning the SEC at this point, are pretty big. I mean, I could not believe that Georgia would get literally run over by Florida. I mean, that's all they did. They ran the ball all over the field. Everybody knows that Florida can't pass, and they never got taken to task for that. And that was probably the most shocking upset of the week. Auburn beating Ole Miss is one thing, but Auburn's been experienced. They're coming off a national championship game and all that. But Florida looks miserable, and they scored all these points off of running the ball. It was crazy. that was a huge letdown loss. I think it's a Mark Richt special over at Georgia. So really disappointing. So now let's go to John for his thoughts about last weekend's action. What is your takeaway from the games that were played?
Yeah, Dave, it was actually a bigger upset than Florida over Georgia, and it was UConn beating Central Florida. But I digress. That was crazy. Yeah. So that was just a wild week, Dave. I mean, Florida actually is in really good position to win the SEC East now. Crazy as it sounds. They just need Missouri to lose one more game, and Missouri's got a nice defense, but their quarterback Moss, he's just terrible. So they're going to drop one. And all Florida's got to do is beat Vanderbilt on the road and beat South Carolina at home. And as we see, South Carolina is not a good South Carolina team. So they should end up being in the SEC title game. It's just unbelievable the way the season has gone. That's just wild. The other game that I was kind of interested in on Saturday was the TCU West Virginia game. The Big 12 is another crazy conference this year. And it looked like TCU was going to get beat there. They were down 30-21 in the fourth quarter. And then Holgerson, I don't know if you guys watched this game, 2 straight drives in a row. He just ran it into the line 3 times in a row, which I couldn't believe. I know the quarterback took it, I had some turnovers, but I just couldn't believe that. They were just practically handing TCU the game. He was over on the sideline throwing his hat and his white card and everything. I'm like, dude, you're calling plays. I mean, don't you see that they're not working here? It's all packs for crying out loud. But anyway, TCU took advantage, and they're still in the mix here. And they picked up a huge game with this Kansas State this week. But that's probably the games that I'll be most interested in. Number 6 and number 7 in the rankings. So whoever wins that game is going to have a huge leg up. Now what's also interesting is, let's just say that TCU wins this game against Kansas State, and Baylor ends up winning out. So both teams are 11-1, and did TCU be ranked higher than Baylor, even though Baylor beat them? I mean, it's just one of these things that the committee will have to decide for themselves. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
That's interesting. A lot of juice there. That's funny, isn't it? That's where it gets really interesting. You start to think about, they're the same record and one had ownership over them. It's a good point. It's a good point. It's funny. You just never know. You can't predict football, Susan. So I would say, though, as I think, Ron, you make this point too, the winner of this game is the de facto favorite to make the playoff in the Big 12. And I think you said in text or on the board that you were big on TCU winning this game, or certainly winning out. What is your thought on TCU as a big favorite for the playoff?
Well, yeah, I do like them as a team. I didn't believe in them early in the season, but they made me a believer. They should have won that Baylor game. They're winning by 24, I think, with 5 minutes left, and I truly believe that the reason they lost that game is because I got a text message from you, Dave, saying that, wow, I can't believe TCU just went up 24, and 5 minutes later I look at the score and Baylor had won the game. So Gary Patterson is not happy with you, but yeah, I think they'll beat it. I think they could beat Kansas State, and I clearly believe if they do that they should be the favorite from the Big 12. But like John said, Baylor with a win over them, if they end up the conference champion, it's going to be interesting to see how the committee works that out, because one of their criteria is supposed to be conference championships. So it's interesting. I think TCU right now is playing like one of the best teams in the country, but in the end, who knows if they actually end up there. I think if they win out, they should, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, and we'll see about what happens with Baylor the rest of the way too. There's definitely a lot of competition. I think the playoff is doing exactly what we had hoped. It's creating a lot of excitement in college football where there otherwise may not be. I mean, if you look at the first 2 spots, Mississippi State and Florida State, the only 2 undefeated. So it would just be about, well, if they can just lose, Otherwise, it's just going to be them. But here, you've got like 10 teams that have a legitimate claim to any of the top 4 spots. So, your thoughts about the college football playoff format so far? And we'll go to John, and then we'll go to Andy on this. So, John first. What do you think about the juice now with this college football playoff? Is it playing out the way you hoped?
Oh yeah, definitely. I forget what writer said it that I follow on Twitter. A lot of these college football writers, but he said that we'd be pretty much in a holding pattern for the next month under BCS because Mississippi State and Florida State would be clear 1 and 2, and we'd just be watching every weekend waiting for them to lose. Now with the 4 spots, you've got tons of games every week that are just huge implications. So I definitely think it's had a great impact. I will say, though, the way this is going to play out over a couple of years, they're going to have to expand this to 8 teams. You're going to have the 5 champions and then 3, at-large teams. Because I can just see Big 10 or Big 12 or someone bitching, getting left out of this, and it's going to change eventually. But just in terms of the juice anyway that it's created, it's just an unbelievable. I said the other day that I think the ratings for those 2 playoff games on January 1st might be the highest rated broadcast in ESPN history, especially if it's like Florida State versus Michigan State and Alabama versus ECU or something like that. Those are just the unbelievable games to watch, and so definitely huge juice. And on a second note on the playoffs, if you listen to the guy, the committee chairman, I forget his name, I think it's Jeff Long from Arkansas. He said, the committee using the eye test, which it's kind of a really subjective argument. I mean, can you really see Condoleezza Rice sitting in there breaking down the 3-4 defense, on film? I mean, I don't know. I just hate when they use that type of thing as a measurement. I mean, use statistics and all that kind of thing, but the eye test, breaking down the film, that kind of thing is a little too subjective for my taste.
I think that's a fair point. You can't use it as a huge weight. I mean, it certainly can be a partial part of the analysis, but it can't factor in too heavily because, I mean, like you said, it's really a matter of opinion in some cases. I mean, one might think that Oregon's a superior team because of their speed, or one might think that maybe Mississippi State or Auburn might be because of their physical or because of their size, that sort of thing. So it's really a lot. There's a lot of questions you can raise in that situation. Okay, Andy, what is your takeaway from the college football playoff so far? How do you feel it's panned out?
Well, basically, it's exciting, just like it was last year with 2 teams, and now you got 4 teams. So now you have teams that are 5, 6, 7, 8. I want to be in. I want to be. We should be in. We should be in. Where last year 2 teams, and then you had teams 3 and 4, pandering to get in. Because I think John's right. At some point, you'll have to expand to 8. But it's so fickle. A lot of mountains have to be climbed before that happens. Mm-hmm. And I think at some point you're gonna have, 2 years ago it was like when the replacement refs were there and like bring back the regular refs, and then the regular refs are there like bring back the replacement refs. At some point you're gonna have maybe in the next 2 years if one team gets shafted because of Condoleezza Rice and whoever replaced the Manning father, bring back the computers. Let's have the computers select the 4 teams. Because it's hard to please an entire legion of fans. But, we're having a good time talking about all these teams and who can get in and who won't. But it is funny, like, you could save this topic for another day, if it's SEC bias or Pac-12 bias or lack of love for the Big 12. But, once Baylor lost their first game, they were laughed at. Everyone's making fun of their awards. Like, hey, this is what happens when you don't play good defense. And they're kind of like an afterthought at this point. But no, Alabama, they got 1 loss. You got to respect Alabama. Even though they're not vintage Bama can still show up. So and they're favored by 6.5 against LSU. I think the past perception definitely has an effect on that line. And then the other example is Oregon. And Oregon, once they lost Arizona, myself included, like, they not the same Oregon, and they were kind of pulled down because all these other Pac-12 schools were kind of underperforming too. Stanford, USC, Washington. But Arizona State's played well. Arizona's played well. and Oregon killed Stanford, so now they're getting penciled in to be that fourth team. And their O-line, for some reason, played a heck of a lot better since that first third of the season.
That's a great point. The offensive line has shown major improvement in protecting the quarterback. And as you mentioned, Arizona has been having a pretty good season, and that helps their ranking too. They were in the top 10, I think, even heading into, if I'm remembering this correctly, I think they were even in the top 10 heading into that game against Utah. See if I got that right. Is that right? Or is it Arizona State, Utah? Damn, I'm mixing it up again. I can't.
Arizona lost to UCLA.
Okay,
so
Arizona was at UCLA.
10.
And they were at the top 10 at some point. Yeah, that's right. And Arizona State was at Utah, and I think they won, which sets up this great rematch. Arizona State, Notre Dame. They played last year, and Notre Dame came out the winner. We will see if anyone picks that one in our Kids Club picks. Also, as I noted before, Ohio State, not in the top 10 yet, but they've slowly come back from the dead after losing to Virginia Tech early in the season. But now they play Michigan State. And I'm curious to see if anyone picks this game and how they pick it. It's at East Lansing, so we'll keep an eye on that as we start our Kids Club picks. So here we go. We start with Kids Club week number 10. We go with the college picks one person by one person. And we will start with our leader, Ron in New Jersey, with the 2 college games. Ron, it is your floor.
All right, Dave, let me get the Ziggy off the board then, and I'll be the first one to pick it. I'll take Michigan State minus 3.5 at home against Ohio State. I just think Michigan State's the better team. It could be a close game, maybe a touchdown in the fourth quarter separates them, but that's an awfully small line for a Saturday night home game in East Lansing. I'll take Michigan State. And my second pick, I'll take, I've been a big Mountain West guy this year. I took them last week. I'll take them again. I'll take Utah State minus 7 on the road against Wyoming. Utah State written off for dead once Chucky Keaton got hurt again, but they really responded well. They have a really, really good defense. They should have beat Colorado State when they played them. So I like the way they're playing. I'll take Utah State minus 7 against Wyoming.
Excellent. All right. So first person out of the box takes the Michigan State game, and I would side with you on that. I think Michigan State's the better team in this matchup. I mean, Ohio State's had a great year, and they've certainly rebounded nicely, but I still think that Michigan State winds up having the better defense and just a better overall team. And I could even say that, I won't go so far with the coaching, but it'll be a good game. It'll be a fun game to watch, and I think they will end up victorious. But we'll see. I mean, that's why they play the games. Okay, so let's see. Who do we go to next? Let's go to John. After we give Oat Man's picks, Ottis selects Oregon minus 9 at Utah, which I think is provocative because Utah is a good team, and they're very good at home. And they went to overtime against Arizona State. And they didn't win, but they certainly were looking very good for a while. And I do like their defense, so we'll see how that goes. I think Oregon can cover the spread, but it'll be interesting to follow that one. So the other pick is Baylor plus 6 at Oklahoma. Not a bad call on that spot. So Oregon minus 9, Baylor plus 6. Now we go to John's picks. Week 10 in college. It is your floor.
All right, Dave. We'll start off with a game that I'm pretty surprised no one's taken it so far. Maybe Andy will be definitely on a checker with this one, but I want to take Duke minus 3.5 at Syracuse. And Duke's the kind of a team, they just keep getting no respect, and they just keep on winning games. They were underdogs last week at Pitt, and they usually could have lost that game, but they just find ways to win. They're so well coached. And they're playing a Syracuse team here that just frankly isn't very good. They had played a tougher ACC schedule than Duke, but their offense is pretty bad. Their coach is one of those Ooga Booga types, throwing shit on the sideline, but hunting them, just hard to root for. And Duke is, they're in position to win that ACC Coastal Division, and they cannot afford a loss at Syracuse, or else they'll get passed by Georgia Tech. And they only give them, I like that 3.5, but they're the much better team, and we'll take a chance. So Duke minus 2.5 for the first game. For game 2, I actually had a similar pick as Otis, and I didn't have a backup one, so I guess we'll just roll with it. We'll go Baylor plus 6 at Oklahoma. This was your typical Bob Soup game, in a big game. I know Baylor had that loss at West Virginia, but they had a bye. They came back and just destroyed Kansas last week. I think they're a better team here. I know Oklahoma has the home field, but Green Bay's offense getting points any day of the week, and I will take it even on the road. I like if this team was to pick them or maybe Baylor minus 3, I wouldn't play it. But getting 6 points, I'll take the better coach Art Briles on the road. So Green Bay plus 6, I kept on a check with Otis against Oklahoma. So Duke minus 3.5 and Baylor plus 6 college picks.
Thank you very much, John. Good luck to those picks as well. Now we go to Andy in Seattle for Week 10 college picks. Andy, take it away.
Okay. Yeah, I every pick I've heard I like. So, and the land of hypothetical could be either sinking or swimming with all these picks. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, the first game, and John was kind of right. I was really thinking about taking Duke. Had him last week, and all is forgiven from that game against Miami when the miraculous rainstorm screwed him. I'm transparent, but I will stick to ACC and go to a different team that's kind of a little under the radar as well. And that's Georgia Tech, and they're giving 3.5 on the road against a nameless and faceless North Carolina State team. And basically, with Georgia Tech, I try not to overthink Georgia Tech, the triple option. And they're kind of on a roll. I think they've covered like 3 games in a row. And 2 weeks ago, they looked really good against Pitt. Pitt had like 4 or 5 loaf of bread in a row. It was like 28-0. And then last week, they kind of had their way with Virginia. So they've got these good performances in the rearview mirror, and hopefully they can keep the momentum. And with NC State, they're boring. They don't really do much. Not really fun to watch, and their coach is vanilla. Obviously, again, transparent. I did not like him at BC. Don't like him at North Carolina State. And he's the same guy that thought Russell Wilson was, expendable. And so that's a good job by Tom O'Brien. And with Georgia Tech, I wouldn't take them in a bowl game because teams need like a lot of time to prepare for that triple option. But week to week, I'll take Georgia Tech. So continue with them, giving 3.5 to NC State. And game number 2 might be a trap. It is sometimes with these Todd Graham experiences, but we'll do it. Giving 2.5. I see 2.5 against Notre Dame. Some people think this is game of the week. There's a lot of really good games, so let them have their fun. And it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I'm basically taking this game, number 1, anti-Notre Dame. Number 2, games at home. Number 3, Notre Dame's defense is really, really bad. They gave up points to North Carolina, and they gave up 39 points to Navy. They just do not have a very strong defense. And we played Stanford tough, but that game was in a really bad rain and cold. And in that type of game, like Mother Nature is like an equalizer. So in Stanford, they methodically move the ball up and down. This is a different element with Arizona State. If Arizona State loses, it's probably because they're their own worst enemy. So that's basically Todd Graham's Achilles heel. Just doing stupid stuff. But I think, regardless of the stupid stuff, they will be able to have a good show on Saturday and then just maybe break some Notre Dame Irish fan hearts along the way.
That'll be a fun one in Tempe. I think they have hit a little bit of their stride now, and whether it's Bercovici or Kelly, they certainly have had quite a few moments, had some shows, so to speak. I mean, it's interesting. I'm bringing up an interesting question about Arizona State. Who is the better quarterback? Because I noticed that Kelly seemed to have more turnovers when he came back after Bercovici was pretty good at throwing the ball So I don't really know where to rule on that. Now let's go to Ron, since I know that you have a keen evaluation tool, or you have keen knack for evaluating like draft picks in NFL. So what would you rate the two? Who would you find as the better quarterback between them? We'll make this quick, just to get their idea. Pick your brain. Ron? Do I have Ron on the phone? Hello?
Dave.
Hello?
Yeah, Dave, you're breaking up. I couldn't hear a word you were saying.
Oh, sorry. Is that true for all of you guys? Are you guys struggling to hear me?
I can hear John and Ron great, but you sound like you're in underwater.
Oh no, are we doing this again? Okay, hang on just a sec. Let me try something. 1 sec. Okay. All right, we're gonna try to get back on air. They can't hear me yet, but they will in a second. Here we go. This is a slow system tonight. It's weird. It seemed to just. Now, why isn't this working? I just did it. Guys, can anybody hear me at this point? Hello? Hello? Is anyone
breaking up?
Am I still breaking up? How about now?
Yep.
Is that better?
This massive reverb.
Oh, really? Jeez. Can you guys stand by for a second? I will call right back, and we'll stay. Just quickly stay on the line. And what I'll do is I'm going to call in on my. Is this going to make sense? No, it isn't. So let me just reconnect, and I'll be right back. Hang on just a sec. And for the rest of you, we'll stay on the line for the moment, and we will we will return to the telephone in just a moment. So stay with us.
Now I think we're dead.
Even his reverb. Always a.
I'm still here.
Maybe,
I didn't go anywhere. Are you still there? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me at this point?
We're here, Dave.
Okay. Can you
But
hear
you're
me?
still
Is it a
breaking up a
reverb
little,
though?
Dave.
Is it better at this point?
Dave, you need to hire Fiddle to be your technical director there.
Gosh,
This guy sounded clearer than he sounded like he was in my living room when I was listening to the show.
Oh, was it really? I'm sorry, guys. I really am. How is not? But now, or is it still like really bad?
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. Okay. So I don't know, but this is Blog Talk Radio's fault. I mean, it was good for 2 weeks. Now it's like messing up again. So we'll be right back. Stay on the line, everybody. We will stay with us. This is Dave in the city. We'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. Be right back after this. All right, we're back at it here in the city, continuing our Kids Club picks. Let's get everybody back on the air and see if they can all hear me. Here we go. Okay, so fellas, can you hear me reasonably clear? Has the audio improved any since I last left you?
Loud and clear, Dave.
Okay, very good. All right, so Andy, let's just pick up where we left off. Andy's picks were Georgia Tech -3.5 at NC State and Arizona State -2.5 against Notre Dame at home in Tempe. We will skip the question about Arizona State quarterbacks and move on to our pro picks. So as to round out the hour, let's get going. So the NFL, we'll switch gear. Well, anything else you want to bring up about college football? Anybody want to chime in with anything? Anyone?
No, I would say this. If I had a bonus pick, it would be I'd be right there with Andy. Arizona State -2.5. I don't know if it's anti-Notre Dame bias, but I think that's a pretty easy bet.
They're a talented team. I'll tell you that. Let's go to Andy. Any final thoughts on college?
No big thoughts on college. You're starting to get reverb again, though, so we gotta be gentle.
Oh, okay. I won't. I don't know how else I'd play this. Maybe I'll just call on a phone next time. I don't know.
Hey, you're right now.
I am okay? Okay.
You're good now.
Okay. John, final thoughts on college?
Yeah, nothing to add. I mean, it should be a great week. Maybe a good week to sit on your couch and taking a lot of college football if you got nothing else better to do. That's for sure.
Cool. All right, guys. Thanks very much for the college picks. Let's move on to the pros. And in Week 10, more excitement in the AFC and the NFC. It's a little wide open than past years. And so picking games has remarkably been pretty good. And most of the Kids Club has been very successful at the NFL picks. Most of the split sweeps we've had this year have been from the NFL picks. So it's been very good. Good job out of all of you so far. Let's start with Oat Man's picks for the NFL Week 10. He selects the Chiefs -2.5 at the Bills and the Falcons -2 at the Bucks. So those are his picks. Now nothing else to it. It's pretty solid selections. Now let's start with our leader once again. And Ron in New Jersey, you now have an opportunity to divulge to us your pro picks. So let's hear what you got.
My first pick is going to be Pittsburgh -4.5 against the Jets. I think it's pretty easy to just pick against the Jets from here on out and get an easy W. So they're my first pick. And second pick, I'm going Green Bay -7 at home Sunday night against the Chicago Bears. I like the Packers in that game.
And what had been touted, I'm sure, for in the early part of the season as a showcase of two great quarterbacks is now simply one good quarterback and one that's really in flux. I mean, I don't know what the Bears are going to do coming off the bye week, but they look like they were in total disarray in their last game against New England. So it's anyone's guess what they bring to the table. And as far as them making the playoffs, I have no clue. So that is very well done. Thanks for the picks, Ron. Good luck to them. And now to John in Connecticut for Week 10 NFL picks. John, your floor.
All right, Dave, we'll go with one of Otis's picks. Again, we seem to get in the same wavelength. Just after our fantasy football trade today, we're kind of in each other's minds. We'll go with Atlanta -2 in Tampa Bay. And this is kind of the worst game of the year. I'm sure Red Zone will be showing a lot of it. But, I mean, the Bucs announced today that they're going to beat Josh McCown at quarterback, which is like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. If you remember from the beginning of the season, he was just horrible. I really don't understand. I mean, Glennon, at least you kind of throw the ball down the field. McCown is just terrible. If Atlanta can't win this game with the talent they have on offense, just lose Mike Smith in Tampa, it would be embarrassing to lose this game. So we'll go with Atlanta -2. There's kind of a revenge angle, I guess, because they beat the Bucs so bad on that Thursday night game. But, the Falcons are a field goal better than the Bucs. I don't care. If they lose this game, like I said, Mike Smith ain't going to have a job on Monday. So that's game one. In game two, we'll go to the Monday night game, and we'll take the Eagles -6 against Carolina. And it's kind of interesting because this line is probably the same as it was with Nick Foles at quarterback as it is now with Sanchez, and that pretty much speaks to Chip Kelly's offense and just how quarterback friendly it is. You can just plop anybody in there, and they're going to do a good job. And I think Sanchez will do a good job. The Eagles under Kelly have really done well in these prime games on Sunday and Monday nights, especially at home. And Carolina is just beat down. Their defense is not the same as last year without Greg Hardy. They have no pass rush. Their secondary is depleted, and we look for the Eagles to have a big win on Monday night, like score 30 points, like 35-21 or something like that. So Atlanta -2 and Philly -6 are your NFL picks.
All right, thank you for the picks, John, and decent calls on that. That is a really funny observation. I guess goes to show you that the system that Chip Kelly runs in Philadelphia really can make a star out of almost anybody. I'm looking forward to seeing what we're seeing. And was he just in a bad spot with the Jets, or is he just simply not that good? I don't know. And maybe we'll pass this along to everyone else as we discuss. Andy, let's hear your 2 pro picks for week number 10.
Okay. Well, I hate to be a checker on a checker here, but I'm going to be one each, and because every other game that's on the board, in my opinion, is kind of trappy. And I mean, I'll jump on John's trap with that Atlanta game, because Tampa cannot beat anybody the way they played the last couple weeks. But it smells like a trap. Maybe we should just stop making fun of Tampa for a couple of days, because they might end up causing us some heartburn in 72 hours. But anyway, first game, I will take Green Bay. Checker with Ron. I don't know if there's an NFL fiddle around, but Green Bay last game was on NBC Sunday night, and then they had the bye, and then their next game is going to be on the NBC. So, those that get excited with such odd schedule quirks, there you go. I think that's kind of odd. So that's game number 1. I like Green Bay. Listen, yeah, they can give up some points here and there, evidenced with the Green Bay New Orleans game, but as we all could sense, New Orleans was hungry, and that game was actually really close. Up until the halfway point in the third quarter, I think Green Bay had like a turnover or something, and it kind of just snowballed from there. And but historically, for whatever reason, Packers just have had the Bears number lately, and although there's the Captain Elfman like, well, that's because they've won in the past. That has nothing to do with the future, the present. Well, in this case, I'm going with the flawed theory. I think the Packers just have gotten in this current crop of Bears heads. I'll take Rodgers versus Cutler any day of the week. It'll be a high-scoring game, but Green Bay's had a handful of games where they've basically been able to have their way. I think they'll kind of have a similar performance than they did in that Carolina game. And I guess the common denominator would be that Dolphins team. And the Dolphins kind of made the Bears look like fools, whereas the Packers kind of came back at the end and won that game. I'm rambling now. Give me Green Bay -7. Game number 2, we'll also take a checker on a checker with John's second game and take the Eagles. And this is just an anti-Carolina pick. I don't think they have any sort of offense that can hang around with a Chip Kelly game plan. Then again, maybe the Eagles look inefficient. I'll take my chances. Carolina is a team where you kind of close your eyes like, well, they win games like 16-13, maybe 17, maybe sometimes they'll even score 23 points and win 23-17, something like that. But they're always close. And Cam Newton, very talented, but not much else. So he got no running game, and he just gets hurt a lot, or he maybe just plays hurt because he's never really missing time, but he's always banged up and limping. And like a catcher in a regular season Major League Baseball, you get banged up and you lose effectiveness. And I don't really have any sort of feeling with Sanchez versus Foles. John said the line didn't change much, so clearly the odds makers don't either. Maybe Chip Kelly just needs a Pac-12 quarterback to plug in. So maybe Jake Locker can find a home with the Eagles in a couple months or so. But I think you can have debates all you want, whether you just need a houseplant in Chip Kelly's system or you need a quarterback with actual talent. I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle, but I think Sanchez should be formidable enough this week to take care of business, especially since the game's at home.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you for the picks, Andy. And as for the quarterback switch, it is really going to be a fun watch. I'm looking forward to seeing if Sanchez can prove himself. He has a great situation, and I'm kind of rooting for him too. I mean, he's from SC and everything, so I look forward. Hopefully, he can be good for us bros with that game against Carolina, who, like you guys all said, they don't look good at all right now. So Eagles -6, Packers -7 for Andy's picks. One note about the pro picks this week: no underdogs. Every pick this week has been a favorite, so that's an interesting situation. It's just a coincidence, but I thought that was funny how that turned out. Let's get a quick analysis of the two quarterbacks from the Eagles. Let's go to John. I wanted to hear your thoughts about the differences between what Sanchez can do with the Eagle offense and what Nick Foles can do. Do you see a difference between the two quarterbacks?
Dave, I think you're reverbing me again, but I think your question was about the Eagles quarterback.
Yes,
so,
it was, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much of a difference between the two. I mean, Foles had that unbelievable season last year with like 25 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and we all know that wasn't going to stand. And this year, if you've watched the Eagles, I mean, he's made just a ton of mistakes. Like, he kind of backpedals and he's under pressure and throws balls up for grabs. And I definitely think Sanchez is, he's kind of turnover prone as well, but I don't think he'll make that same kind of error. I think he'll protect the ball a little bit better. And really, I mean, they pretty much have the same arm, I would guess. Maybe Sanchez is a little more accurate, even though I guess his completion percentage career is under 60%. I think I read that, but it just seems like he'd be a better fit in the system. I guess he played there really well in the preseason, so we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's not a huge difference, but I think Sanchez is a good enough player that he'll make the offense work. It's not like they're going from, Aaron Rodgers to Seneca Wallace was in last year for a couple of games. I mean, that was just disgraceful, but it's not that kind of drop-off.
I got you. Okay. Instead, rather than encumber any further reverb, Ron, I was interested to hear what you thought about what Mark Sanchez, especially as a Jet fan, what do you think there could be any tangible improvement by having Mark Sanchez as quarterback for the Eagles? It's getting clear that he can't. That the reverb is getting too strong, fellas. I think I'm just gonna end it here. Guys, thank you very much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. Ron, John, Andy, if you can hear me, thank you very much for joining us. It was a good spot. Good luck to your picks, and have a great weekend, everybody.
All right, thanks, Dave. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right, good luck, everyone.
Thanks so
Peace
much.
out.
All right, fellas, that's that for tonight. Thank you very much to everybody. Ron in New Jersey, Andy in Seattle, John in Connecticut. I'm Dave Medina, and that's that. That's our show tonight. Thanks very much to everybody for listening, and also thanks to Kevin on the Cape for random questions. Back and better than ever. I'm really happy to have him back, and it's good to have you here listening as well. So have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy the weather, and we'll see you next time.
So you wanna believe it, but